They're not states that anybody in their right mind would pursue. But if our orientation is simply to get better, to get past them. I'm a little anxious today. How do I get rid of being anxious? I got a little existential dread that visited me last night. How do I get rid of that? See, then we're actually asking, how do I go back to sleep? Does that make sense? How do I check out again? But when we have that curiosity, when we really want to know it's true, then our orientation is a bit different. Orientation is more like, what is this trying to show me? In what way is my experience endeavoring to wake me up, to make me more conscious? How does uncomfortability serve you then, you see? What's really real? When you start to get onto this, you discover a different orientation. An orientation that has much more power than simply the drive to want to feel better all the time. And remember, you do want to feel better all the time. It's hooked up in you biologically, so don't even try to get rid of it. If you do, then you just sort of twist life in a grotesque way. Do you know when you like in the past, I'm still sure people still do it in the present, you know, when they do all sorts of ridiculous things to try to squash that drive to feel good. You know, you go out and you become an ascetic. You know, you stop eating very much. You starve yourself to death. You know, you put what they used to put on some of the Christian mystics and stuff. You know, they wear like things around their neck that would keep poking into their bodies. You know, like what the hell they call? I can't remember what they were even called though. But it's like a necklace full of nails. You know, so you could constantly be in that state. So God forbid you started to feel good for a minute. You know. Spirituality of all types is littered. The history is littered with people trying to do these things, and they turn life into something sort of grotesque when that happens. You know, when somebody notices that the drive to feel better can make you unconscious, to go around trying to solve that by feeling rotten is just kind of, you know, it's silly at best. Not that anybody in this room, I think, is probably pursuing that path. I hope not. And the most important thing about this curiosity part, this different orientation, is that it roots you in you back into your own life. It roots you into your own experience, into what's actually happening actually right now. What's happening right now? What's real right now? Not, can I find a reality tomorrow, but what is real right now? And if you notice, you might even feel in yourself how habitual this tendency is among us to look elsewhere, to look outside of one's own experience, even with a question like that. What's true in your experience right now? And the mind would go, and it'll start to think, start to scan inside its head. I don't know. That means that the mind's not actually paying attention to right now, you see. It's still in an abstraction. So the beautiful thing about what's really real is that it pulls your attention back into this instant, Takes you out of all abstraction. And so then there's a lot of power in that. Then the whole path becomes something of the willingness to be extraordinarily honest with yourself. Which is a hard thing for a human being to sustain very long, is it not? To be really, really honest with yourself. To really, really be honest with yourself. Very difficult for a human being to sustain that within themselves for very long. To be really, really quite honest with yourself. To stay with it.